Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Tell us, Anon, what is your wound?
Trust issues stemmed from every friend I ever had, but notably my supposed best friend only ever wanting to hang out when I'm of use to them. Over-coddling and protectiveness by my parents at an early age that kept me from growing out of my shell and experiencing typical teenage experiences. I am at the point where I realize that at some point it becomes my fault for not realizing this and fixing it, but the fact that I'm damaged in this aspect is making it a slow go. The isolated environment I am currently, temporarily hopefully, stuck in, and my hesitation to trust anyone also makes advancing toward my goals a slow go. I fall in love rarely, but when I do, I fall hard and constantly walk a balancing act between going all in, taking my shot, and second-guessing my actions. Also doesn't help that the last 2 times I've fallen in love, the prior and the current, have been with people that live on the West Coast while I'm on the East. I don't even particularly want to live in that area, but would if it ever worked out. I don't know why this is happening besides some cruel joke. I'm very self-aware, as years of spending time with myself has at the very least allowed me to enjoy my own company. Though I'm also prone to self-consciousness and the awareness that just because one is self-aware doesn't particularly make them apt to deal with their faults. I feel like I'm at a good place with knowing myself, however, and put my true self out there for the world to see. Free of any act or attempt to be someone I'm not. However, while I usually am apt at fitting into any situation due to my flexible nature, I also feel like myself is someone that not a lot of people would want to fuck with. Which, I'm an introvert, so I don't crave a lot of companionship. Besides my immediate family that are always there for me, I'd like just one person that I could love romantically and as a best friend that I vibed with and they felt the same way about me. I suck hardcore at motivating myself toward my goals. I've made some progress in the last month or so, but it's a slow go. I usually can't do it for my own sake, cause as much as I'm okay being with myself a lot, I don't have any value in my own self-preservation. If I don't have any guaranteed light at the end of the tunnel, it just doesn't really get me up and going. Probably part depression too. I usually do well if I gain a muse or focus, but at the same time, self-doubt makes me think that all the work I'm putting in for a goal that may or may not be there when I get to that point is fruitless. I know if I had someone in my corner to encourage me and inspire me to be my better self that it would be easier, but at the same time don't want to be a burden on anyone or feel like they feel the need to be there only for my sake. I'm a pretty standard story from a broken home. My dad was a drunk and had beaten my mom, and I felt guilty when I mentioned that I missed him, because that's just how my kid brain worked. Even a little, and she would bring him back into the house, and the cycle of her money being stolen, cars being crashed, and being manhandled would start all over again. I never had any constants in my life except for my mom, and I was so thankful to have her. Now she's dead, and I don't think I'll ever recover. At first I thought the lowest I'd felt would be when my first girlfriend left me just because I thought we were so perfect for each other, but after experiencing my mother's death it's easy to say I'll miss her more.
Flunked out of my degree one step away from the finish line. Thought God would provide another way, and things have never been the same since. I still use it as a mental excuse for not overachieving. Mentally it's destroyed me, it hears. I wouldn't mind, but I have real responsibilities, so I just keep going.
Holy fuck, man, you wanna know? Alright. Maybe it's my father who threw me away. Maybe it's my mother who stuck me in boarding schools where I was beaten and assaulted during my formative years because she had no time for me. Maybe it's the kids in school who pushed me away, leaving me to walk alone for years when I was very young. Maybe it's the schooling system that didn't even know I didn't attend. Perhaps it's the ex-wife who, after 10 years of being together, treated me like absolute shit and put me into debt. Maybe it's me, who spent years abusing myself with alcohol and neglected my future. Shit, I got a few wounds. Above all, a God that promised love through suffering. That shit hurts.
I never had anyone in my life. I had been abandoned and marginalized by my old friends when I was a teenager, and the scars are still around. Anyway, now in college I met new friends and a girl that for the first time in my life actually liked me back. I think I tried too hard to make her my own. We broke up after 1 month. The problem is these new friends have to go home or have other plans, and I often find myself alone. The fear of not being abandoned by friends again always reminds me of the extent I loved that girl and what I did for her to be mine, and wish she would message me with her cold-ass soul. So my wound is being alone.
I was injured badly in a car accident, but I had a psychotic break at the same time, went berserk and attacked the first responders, then the police that showed up. They put me down, and in the chaos my heart stopped and I needed to be brought back to life. I remember bits in the back of the ambulance. I remember screaming at them and telling them to let me die. But they did good work on me. I lived. I don't remember much of it, only learned what happened to me from onlookers and the snippets from the ambulance. I'm told I've developed PTSD. I'm coming to terms with that now. Sometimes I wished I'd have actually died on that road, sometimes I believe I did die and all this is hell. I cope with painkillers, and I keep myself busy. I was injured badly in a car accident, but I had a psychotic break at the same time, went berserk and attacked the first responders, then the police that showed up. They put me down, and in the chaos my heart stopped and I needed to be brought back to life. I remember bits in the back of the ambulance. I remember screaming at them and telling them to let me die. But they did good work on me. I lived. I don't remember much of it, only learned what happened to me from onlookers and the snippets from the ambulance. I'm told I've developed PTSD. I'm coming to terms with that now. Sometimes I wished I'd have actually died on that road, sometimes I believe I did die and all this is hell. I cope with painkillers, and I keep myself busy.
My ex-fiancé. I met her as a little 8th grader. I was a freshman, and we became friends. I got kicked out of school and walked to her house one day and she was home, which was weird, but she'd stayed home from school. I was her best friend for about 3 years, then it became romantic. I saw her date other guys as a friend and she saw me date other girls, but when we got together it was special. Then I moved for college. She followed me the next year. Then her girls she met in uni started making her go out, meet guys, etc. Young and dumb, she went. We broke up and I moved on. She'd still visit with my family, but me and her never got back together. I got married, then divorced. She stayed going from guy to guy. She died 10 years ago this month. Ruled a self-end. I had just visited with her 2 weeks before I got that dreaded call. She'd been seeing a politician's married son and I think she might have gotten pregnant by him. Her mom came down to claim the body and cremate her. I spent over 6 years with her and now it seems like she was never even real. All I have are the memories of a girl who I once loved so deeply that I would have done anything for her. Now she's just a ghost.
I am my own wound in hell. My father violently assaulted me, my sisters and my mother. My mother, tired of suffering, left home and I was alone. Today my father is sick, slowly dying, and I can't go to see him. As a child I was abused by a very dear friend of my family, and I know that if I opened that gate no one would believe me. As I reached my teens I had severe health problems, a brain inflammation that caused me insane pains, concussions, seizures, and this led me to a treatment with morphine and Tegretol. Result: I was addicted to it for over 10 years. I had problems with cigarettes and alcohol. I grew up, fell in love with a friend and she with me. But I was too empty, too lonely, and I never talked about it clearly with her. I was addicted and had affairs with other people, and she never trusted me. I changed but married someone else. I have children. But I'm still in love with this friend. I do not relate to my mother, who is experiencing severe financial difficulties, and I cannot help even though I want and can. And my miserable relationship with my father.
The knowledge of my mortality and the mortalities of my loved ones around me. My mother will be leaving this world. I hope to be around her when she does. Truly, there must be something more to this life. More than this physical form and this consciousness we all have. Or maybe there isn't anything special about having consciousness at all. Maybe it's all just a direction humanity took to separate itself from nature. Thus, our consciousnesses aren't anything special. There's nothing out there. When we die, there's nothing there anymore. It's biological. We are all complex arrangements of atoms. And the atoms move in such a way it gives us consciousness. But maybe we do have souls, and we will see another life after this one. My awareness of my own mortality and the gritty cruelty of this world is making me feel like an old man. I hate to live sometimes. I overthink too much. Sometimes I wish I wasn't born at all. I want my life to be a story. But the reality is that it's just reality. And we all know what reality is.
I'm the only child among my 4 siblings who is successful. Parents who ignored me the most during my upbringing and were convinced I was a mentally ill train wreck and would never amount to anything. Improperly treated psychiatrically for 8 years. Said fuck all of you and started my own life without going to college. Now I make 6 figures and am ignored by my siblings, and my parents just don't want me to ignore them now, and I sometimes end up sending them money. No friends to speak of. Every relationship turns into a girl wanting me for sex. I basically alternate between my job and crushing isolation. Proved everybody wrong, and now I just don't give a shit. Depressed every day, enjoying nothing. I don't drink, smoke, nothing. I just deal with it. Basically ran out of fucks to give a long time ago. Living a hollow dream that I can't feel good about or enjoy with anyone.
My whole fucking life, I like music. I have always loved listening to music. Back when things were normal, when I was a child, whenever I heard a song on the TV that I liked, I'd run into the room, exclaim to my parents, "I like that song," and run out. I am sensitive, and music is the language of emotion. My whole life, I never understood how people could be so cruel, so unabashedly mean. I never understood bullying, or manipulating others, or profiting off of someone else's misery. It doesn't make sense to me. My wound is that I have a heart. That's my fucking wound. And this past year has been heaven and hell. It has been terrible and continues to get worse. Something out there, call it God, the Matrix, the universe, I don't fucking know, it wants me to suffer. It wants me to suffer, and I don't know why. I've been gang stalked the past decade and didn't even know it. I think back to high school. People lied about me, changed my homework, blamed me for things I didn't do. And at the same time, on YouTube, I was getting messages from the future, mean messages. Targeted attacks, directed at me. I don't know why. And someone or something out there spoiled Halo 3 months before the game came out. Where did that info come from? These past 2 years, I've been homeless in Portland. Stay out of Portland, Oregon. Stay the fuck out. Led on by demons disguised as humans while SoundCloud played its sirens. And this last year, Facebook, Apple, Google, the whole damn sea of tech, basically hijacked my mind, manipulating my emotions with targeted posts, making me post all sorts of stuff that wasn't me. I made videos, speaking into the camera, thinking I was reaching someone on the other end of the line. I wasn't. They were data mining me, and entranced, I wanted to integrate myself. At the same time, people who I thought were my friends began to feed me poison and whisper evils into my ear. Black magic stuff. Dark stuff. I soon realized that Facebook had replaced all my friends with bots. The more I used Facebook, the more misinformation it fed me. The more poison it fed me. I thought it was fun at first. I didn't, and still don't, know what it wants from me. I was volunteering at a church, helping the homeless at the same time. I was trying to help. I imagined a better world. The art at the church began to change. It became really dark and evil. Wasn't a normal church. I felt parts of my soul ripped from my body using a phone I had. I am very scared, but also very calm. At one point, the whole sky opened up, and I felt cast down. I could see cells in the sky. Like an observer effect thing. I got the attention of something. At another time, I stared into a man's hat as he spoke, and I could see hell in his head. A million faces, all looking at me, angry. Then later on, the whole city filled up with people, and beings with sunglasses looked at me, and I felt a click in my head. A dark, low vibrational energy poured through the city, and I felt fear like I never had before. The signs, and the ads, and the environment, it all changed. All messages meant to fuck with me. The whole universe is fucking with me, and I now realize it has been my entire life. My whole life. I'm not a bad person. I thought bad people go to hell. Now I have a fucking thing in my head which makes me think terrible things. I have nightmares and my mind is always fighting itself. The internet taunts me. Demons taunt me. Everyone here is talking about some ascension thing and I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why does the universe want to damn me? My whole life. It's like it's one big fucking joke. Dark forces with no respect, no consideration for life, no understanding of what it means to be human. They keep approaching. I'm sick and tired of it. And the birds that are not birds. They chirp at me, right into my mind, synced with my thoughts, but in a bad way. Everything is hurting me, and I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck I did to deserve any of this terrible shit or horrific thoughts I have. I see sick jokes everywhere and it disgusts me. It's like the whole of civilization became evil overnight. Everything used to be good. It's hard for me to do anything anymore. With birds chirping at my soul and tweaker nibblers chomping at my mind. The ringtones are different too. Audio waves meant to fuck with my head. My family and friends have been replaced in real life also. Everything is so goddamn fucked up. This world. Why does it want to hurt me? My whole life, since I was a child, something sick and twisted and ugly has been after me. And I don't fucking understand why. Then I hear people say, your external world is just a reflection of yourself, so why is it being so awful? I never abused anyone, never bullied, never killed. I've been arrogant and jealous, I've stolen some things, but what human isn't? People are flawed. I haven't truly done anything awful. And the universe wants to paint up some fucked up picture of me just to hurt me. Just to hurt me, and I don't know why. And everything looks the same, but it isn't. I'm still getting all sorts of confusing information too. Is it God, Satan, an AI conglomerate, an experiment? What the fuck am I supposed to do, feel, think, accomplish? Am I supposed to hurt forever? Die? Is anyone here even real? Or is this all part of the one thing that's trying to fuck with me? Which is fucking everything. What the fuck did I do to deserve hell?
Realize that you live not in heaven or hell. This is a war to decide what this place will be. You are receiving a notice as to the nature of society. It's not good right now. As scary as it may be, this is so you will be ready. Think of it like spiritual boot camp. The task is to look upon this evil and imagine a radiant future crafted from its ashes. Take up the sword which is the world. For would you not protect others from these forces?
This thing in my head, it wants to use my mind against me. It wants me to imagine torture, horrific scenarios. It wants me to realize awful jokes. It wants me to think shit I don't wanna think. It's like I bit the apple and the knowledge of evil is overwhelming. It just wants to break everything down and repurpose it to its own sick and twisted agenda, and it's a lot to cope with. The best futures I can realize are 1. How it should have been. Soft AI takeoff. A responsible government. What the fuck, DC, Cyberpunk 2077 stuff. No demonic forces at all. Just, ya know, regular humans with technology. 2. Return to the womb, reincarnation, either my life or someone else's. 3. The whole world is on fire or flooded, everything obliterated entirely. A dreamless sleep for all, forever and ever. 4. Fucking superhero stuff. If magic exists, why can't it be fun?
You are on the way. Trust the synchronicity.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.